And the thought that they might not have access to you for an 8 to 10 hour period of time can cause a lot of stress and anxiety that plays out in behavioral ways. And we might not know what to do with that. So I thought, who else can I talk to about this? Well, I'm going to call my friends at Priority because they know how to manage that. And that's where Dr. Dennis comes in because this is something that's very real.
Mhm. Absolutely. And, Dr. Dennis, before we get any further, I'd love to just hear you kind of explain a little bit more for people that are watching this. And, obviously you can kind of maybe put two and two together, separation, anxiety, and everything like that. But really kind of learning a little bit more about it. There's a lot more to separation anxiety than just, say, being a little bit sad when you leave somebody you really care about.
Yes, there's so much more to it. And it really can develop at any age and in anyone. When you think about separation anxiety, you think about that being away from that loved one, that caregiver. And it's not just a parent, it could be the one that's providing the majority of care for the child. And they can have a sense of doom or sense of, I don't know what's going to happen with my loved one while they're away from me. They can experience some physical symptoms. This can manifest as things like stomach aches. They can have things like palpitations, or they can feel a sense of nervousness, like they can't calm down. So it can come with not only physical symptoms, but also psychological symptoms where they are worried, what's going to happen? Is my loved one going to be okay while they're away from me?
Mm-hmm. And that kind of was going to be my next question, just leading into this topic. For parents, they always have, parents and children, they have that special relationship. But sometimes, I can speak for myself when I was a kid growing up, there are some things you don't necessarily like talking to your parents about, or maybe some things you want to keep to yourself. But there are warning signs, of course, for parents to maybe kind of keep an eye out for, to maybe notice something, maybe something's off with their kids, and allows them to maybe start bridging that gap a little bit, maybe getting to them and talking about that separation anxiety they might be feeling. Do you have any maybe common things that parents should be kind of looking out for when it comes to their kids in this topic?
Absolutely, and they can be age specific. The smaller children, they may act out, they may have tantrums, they may have crying spells, they may kick and scream. The older ones may feel a little bit irritable or a little bit agitated and may not be able to really express themselves. But when you see that your child's pattern is off kilter, they're not doing what they typically would do, or they are not able to really come to you, or they feel they're kind of isolating, that's when you want to take notice and say, hey, what's going on? What can I do to really help you talk about what you're going through?
Mm-hmm. And this is something that are we seeing this maybe more often than not, or is this something that parents and children are maybe dealing with a little bit more, that from your experience that you've kind of been able to have these conversations with people in the over the course of a few years? Is this something that parents should be more mindful of? Is this something that we've seen more and more common over the course of the past couple of years?
We are seeing and hearing more people talk about mental health concerns. We want to make sure everyone in the household is doing okay. And a lot of it, I believe, has to do with people really realizing that mental health concerns are medical concerns and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Mm-hmm. Bringing the conversations to the table is always a key part of making sure people are stomping out the stigma and receiving the help that they need.
Mm-hmm. And as far as parents looking for ways to, again, bridge that gap with their kids and talk to them a little bit about it, maybe put their minds at ease, especially as we've all mentioned that school's coming up and really starting for a lot of different kids. Is there any tips that you would like to offer parents? Maybe this is, again, the first time they're hearing about this and maybe really haven't given it much thought. Anything you want them to, maybe an easier step for them to begin this process of, again, bridging that gap, talking to their kids, and helping them kind of put their minds at ease a little bit?
Absolutely. I think it's first important for a parent or caregiver to take an inventory for themselves. Take an inventory of what you have personally been dealing with. Are you seeing your child go through something? Are you yourself going through something? Because when the summer ends and we have to get back in school and we have to change our schedules, there can be a whirlwind of situations that are going on in the household. So first, look at yourself, say, hey, do I need to calm down in certain situations? And if I notice something, make sure that you're having these age-appropriate conversations with them. A little bitty one may not be able to express themselves, but you can say, hey, are you feeling yucky? What is it that I can do to help you? The older ones, you may say, hey, listen, I noticed that you may not be doing well. This is a safe space for you. Let's talk. Let's talk about what you're going through.
And I guess on the flip side of that, for parents that are maybe dealing with separation anxiety, I think I've seen countless videos on my Facebook page over the past couple of days of parents crying more than their kids as they're dropping them off at school. So they're obviously also dealing with some potential separation anxiety, especially if their kids, this is the first year they're going to school. Any tips for them to maybe manage their own separation anxiety and help them make sure that they're checking in on themselves, taking account of their mental health?
Yes, absolutely. Your overall mental health is not just the way you think or the way you feel, but it's also the way you eat, it's also your social rhythms, it's also the way you sleep. So make sure that you're doing the best for you. Make sure you're focusing on having a healthy diet, whether it's eating more fruits and vegetables. Make sure you're getting in some exercise. Make sure that you're getting in good sleep. You want to look at your total health to focus on the things that may be off.
All right, I want to bring you back, and obviously hearing everything that Dr. Dennis is saying, and you guys have had your own conversations about this, kind of learning a little bit more about separation anxiety. I mean, does that kind of change any preconceived notions that you had, or maybe just about the whole dynamic between kids and their parents as they get set for school and dealing with separation anxiety? Anything that you personally really took to heart, or something that, you know, you're going to kind of leave this conversation away with thinking, wow, I can't believe I didn't know that before, and I'm glad I do now?
You know, I just so appreciate that we are saying this is what this is, because a lot of times it'll just be like, well, maybe they're struggling in school, or they don't have the right friends, or they're, you know, what's going on when a child might be, I don't want to go to school today, or I've got this slamming headache and I just can't go, or hi, can you come pick me up? And we're not sure what that's all about. And if we can identify that this is separation anxiety, then we can offer those reassuring words of, I am always going to be here for you. You can text or call me when you feel anxious. You can go to the office and ask them to reach out to me. You can write down 5 things that are bothering you, and let's make sure we talk about that after school. I mean, you can do all of those things if we can actually identify what it is. So I love that we have said separation anxiety is real. It's real for any age. I can tell you so many parents are experiencing separation anxiety as their kids head off to college. It's ridiculous. I mean, so many people will want to stop and be like, yeah, my oldest just left for school. Our house is empty. I absolutely hate it. I'm miserable. And I'm like, you know what? We never talk to parents about what that truly feels like. So I think it's real. I think it's real, and I love that we are talking about it in a way to get us all feeling better. And that's what How's It Really Going is all about.
Absolutely, and I think that is the perfect tease to kind of end this thing on, Miranda. Obviously, we want everybody to go ahead and check out How's It Really Going. You can find a lot more information, not just on this topic itself, but on so many different topics. I mean, I'm showing you guys what the website looks like right now. I mean, just looking at this, teens sharing their thoughts on going back to school, perfect. It ties right into what we've been talking about. The best ways to kind of make sure you're keeping in account of your mental health. And then, of course, I mentioned those coping toolboxes. Again, school is starting, and they really provide these kids with a lot of different help that they need. So again, highly encourage everybody to go ahead and check out How's It Really Going. You can find it on woodtv.com, and if you're watching us on Facebook, just click the link in the description box or the comment section below. We'll take you directly there, and you can find so many different helpful tips. All right, Miranda and Dr. Dennis, thank you both so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure having you guys on.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, I want to thank everybody else for tuning in to this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.